Okay, so we're recording, so let's do a weekly outlook. So yesterday I did do some analysis. It wasn't recorded, so I'm going to go through that again today. Let's look at USD CAD. That's first on my watch list. So let's just see what's been going on since yesterday. And if you guys remember, I did give an entry point, and it did hit. So I don't know if you guys missed it or not, but it was pretty nice. And there was drawdown because it looked like there was news, but I'll still show you what I mean about this analysis because it just played, it was pretty much spot on. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. So it did come out of the channel yesterday. And one thing that I did say, because it's gone out the channel, I gave it like a sell entry zone around this area. So it touched that area, it broke past the resistance that I set here because you see a few times it touched that resistance. We can clearly see a downtrend on the hourly chart and even on the 4-hourly chart. So that's why we're looking for a sell. We've seen that it broke out the trend line. It broke out the channel upwards, but it didn't yet break the resistance. So what happened was it did now break the resistance, but then it was supported by the second resistance. So it broke the first resistance, and then it shot up to the high resistance, and then it shot back down. So let's see how many pips you would have been in drawdown. So if anybody got into this blue area, you would have been in about, 20, 30 pips drawdown. I think that was major news. But if you held it and used a good lot size, you should easily be in about 70 pips profit right now. If that's correct, yeah. That's looking around about 70 pips. So that's pretty much a very simple entry that we had yesterday. Should be in 70 pips profit if you got in anywhere in that area. But again, you would have had drawdown. It depends where your stop loss would have been. A lot of people's stop loss would have been at the previous support/resistance, so it could have triggered, but I still think that was a good area. So let's see what's happening now. You want to see the change in the direction. So let me go to a 4-hour because 1 hour is nice, but you want to see what's going on a 4-hour. On a 4-hour, I'm still seeing this to touch the bottom. I don't see anything breaking out upwards yet. I do see this touching to the bottom of this rectangle that we draw, that I was talking about yesterday. There's this big, massive rectangle that we're part of. Let me show you on a weekly or maybe daily so you can be reminded of that. So as you can see on here, if you look at this, so I do believe that I can push down one more time. You can see that rectangle. It's in the middle right now. It did touch the top. It could go back up, but we've seen it break out this trend here. So it could be making its way down. So let's find an entry point for a sell. Okay, cool. So as you can see, the entry that I gave yesterday did have drawdown due to news, but it was only one candle that went up. You should have been good. 15 minutes later, it was back in profit. So it literally would have been drawdown for 15 minutes and straight into profit, straight shooting down. So I'm still seeing it to touch down, but where's a good time to get in? It just re-entered the trend. So let me extend it, and I will amend it as well. The reason I'm extending it, just so you can see that if it didn't break out, it's come back into the channel, but it did break out, so we're going to take that into consideration. So now what we can see is there's been a slight breakout, so we can adjust the trend line slightly. So now it's better to stick to this resistance. That's more relevant now because it's broken out this area a few times, so it's better to stick to the resistance. So it's kind of widening. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you can see that it's widening. So if I make this higher, we can see that this pattern is the opposite of a wedge. It's getting wider. So even here it shot up and it came back down, and it created lower lows, and then when it went back up, it created a higher high. So it's widening. So again, right now it's in the middle. I do think that it's going to come back down and create another lower low. As you can see, it's been doing that a few times. It created a lower low, lower low, lower low. Then it created a high, and then it created a few lower lows, and it's created a high, then it's created even high. Now it's shot all the way back down into the previous channel. So I do think that it's going to touch either the top or the bottom. And again, because we was looking at it as a downtrend, trying to find an entry for the sell, I would wait for it to go back into this blue area. So that would be a good sell zone. Because it's touched there today, it could could go back up there tomorrow. If you want to do lower risk, anywhere towards the top of this. So me personally, anywhere in between these two previous resistances will be good. I don't see it breaking that until it literally shoots upwards. So I still agree that it's good to get in for a sell. It was pretty fast, so a lot of you might have missed it, but it did go into that zone. So guys, I can send a screenshot, but it's better if you screenshot it on your own phone. So that's what we're looking at for USD CAD. So it's better if you screenshot this on your own phone or whatever laptop you're on, so you can see that you've recorded it yourself. It's in your own gallery. You don't have to access anything. You know where you want to get in. So that's the area that we're looking at. So you can look at this later. This is the hourly chart. You could easily jump back into the area. So for USD CAD, I'm still trying to continue it. If you've missed it, then try to get back in at the top. Me personally, I'm not doing the auto trader. My mindset is just making sure that the business is going well in terms of the website, etc., etc. So I've been very busy today. But if that was me, that would have been a nice entry at the top. This is why it's good to always draw zones. So if you guys have a TradingView account, use it. If you don't have a TradingView account, then make one and start drawing all these, do the analysis. So the next day you can see like, it's in my zone, I want to sell. So that's USD CAD. It touched the zone, it shot right back down. That's a nice 70 pips there. We can expect the same thing. It might take a while, but it took a while to get to that area, but it did go to that area. Cool, so that's USD CAD. Let's have a look at gold. Again, what we can see is it didn't really touch that area. It is getting close to the area. It is still on the downtrend. Let me zoom out on a 4-hourly. And again, our entry was more about precaution because it could go slightly higher. But as you can see, it's creating a very solid resistance here. Every time it goes, it bounces down. But even then, if I was to be a bit more accurate, there's the wicks. It could go slightly higher. So me personally, again, if I am going to catch the sell, let me show you on a daily why I'm looking for the sell. There's a lot of people that are confused. A lot of people have buys on. A lot of people have sells on. I'm still expecting it to come down to the area, but we want to find a nice entry for the sell. So we go back onto the 4-hour. We can see that there's definitely a downtrend. No one can deny that as a downtrend. Even long term, let me show you the grand scheme of things. So we can see there's been a flag recently, but if you look at the grand scheme of things, I can extend this all the way up to there, and you can see that it complies, right? I can even extend this all the way to that side. Again, it's tightening. We could see like a breakout imminent. So even though there's been an impulsive move down, it's also created a little flag, but it's still on the downtrend. So that's why I'm still supporting the downwards movement on this. So let's just find our nice entry. That just to give you the vision of what's been going on. It's still in that downwards momentum. So we want to catch it. We've missed it a few times. The ideal entry that I gave last week, the beginning of last week, one of the most perfect entries was here. And I remember I posted about it quite a lot because that was a nice entry. I knew that it was going to be a while before it comes back from this area. So that was a nice entry that we gave. And since then, it's not reached that area. It shut down again since that time. What? Easily. Nearly 200 pips. Cool. So again, I'm sticking to this area. So let me show you an hourly. This is the area that I'm still looking for a sell. If you want to catch your way down, again, remember, it's all about precaution. Have that patience. There is like a resistance. It bounced off there twice. If you want to expect some drawdown, you can get in slightly lower, maybe let it go slightly higher, around about this area. So if I could move this down slightly, actually, I'll create another one. I think it's more fair if I create another one. So let me create another horizontal support so you can see why I'm creating another one, because there's been a few bounces of both. So around about there. So you can get in for a sell towards this area, but me personally, I still think that it's better if you give it some room and get in as high as you can. So let me move this slightly higher. For me, this would be a better, more ideal entry. So again, you might be thinking we keep missing it, but once you get it, it's the entry king. Once you get it, it's a sweet entry. So you want to position yourself for a good entry. And again, if it goes the wrong way, always expect the market not to be in your favor. So you're always ready for the worst. So if it does go the wrong way, we can get out quickly because now it's breaking the second resistance, and that's a sign that maybe you should get out. So I would rather trade in this area instead of where it is right now. So guys, does that make sense? Just send me a number one in the chat if that makes sense to you, and also screenshot this to make sure that you guys have got that. Okay, that makes sense, yeah? Okay, awesome. And this is the way that I'll be trading on the Auto Trader. Don't expect trades every second, but do expect trades that have quality. Okay, cool. Euro USD. So was Oliver the only person that understood what I was talking about? Because if it makes sense to all of you guys why I'm saying this, let me know as well. I should tell you something that's so annoying. Oh my God. Like, hopefully you guys can see it. Like basically, who can predict what I'm about to say next from yesterday's analysis? Can anybody predict what I'm about to say? If you get it right, then I might give you something free. You can say I missed it, but that area was the zone. Yeah, exactly. And the pinpoint accuracy there is just, and I promise you, I haven't what you call it. It's exactly what I said. I think you guys are getting used to that. As you can see, that this is not something that I drew afterwards. This is something that I drew in front of your eyes. So yesterday, let me show you where the market was. I just really want you guys to see where the market was. Yeah, I've changed the colors by the way. I made it blue and yellow. You've already got FIFA. So as you guys can see, I've changed the color slightly, so it's blue and yellow to make it a bit more intriguing style. But I'm going to rewind it because I really want you guys to see what I said. So just to show you guys that I'm not fake. Okay, cool. So the reason why we predicted this. So yesterday, this is where the market was. As you can see, this is where the market was. And that's the picture that I had drawn out yesterday. I said, if you want to get in, let it shoot back down, and then you get in for the entry. The reason why, because I do believe it's going to go up, but right now we're in a high section. We're at the resistance and it can bounce down. So look what happened today. I don't know how this thing works. I used it quite a lot. So if I just press play, you can see slowly exactly what we predicted. It just happened slightly later, but exactly what we predicted happened. Had a big shoot up, but it went straight into our entry zone. Very close, you could say. Boom, that's it. Entry and out. Again, I can't be exact. I won't be able to predict the millimeter where we need to get in. But as you can see, that was a good entry zone. And again, I will stick with that. If you missed it, we missed it. Again, I do think that it's going to come back down. It's going to create a little channel in that area. So yeah, this one's being recorded. I will post it on YouTube afterwards, and so you guys can access this as well. And again, what I'll do again, just to make it slightly simple. And again, what I'll say is you don't have to get exactly in that area. No, don't worry. Probably I remember this time. Cool. So that's something that I kind of expect again to happen. The reason why is because there is like a solid support that's being touched. So again, if you are looking to try to get in for the buy, I remember what we said about Euro USD, what we're expecting. So Euro USD, we do expect it to come down to this area. It could go again into that area, but long term, we're looking for that buy. So to secure your buy entries, you want to buy as low as possible. So let's go back onto the hourly chart. That's again something that I will look at. Why I can even draw a channel here and show you what could be happening, or what pattern could be created right now. So don't be surprised that if this does happen. Cool. We could be seeing something like this just being created in terms of a channel. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this happening. So it could be playing in that area. So again, you want to buy as low as possible. And this is why it might be slightly on this trend. Anywhere towards this, don't get in for a buy right now. You're in pretty much high a high point of the channel. You can even extend it to where the movement changed. So where the movement changed from the downtrend to the uptrend, this is where it kind of changed. So if you look at it carefully, this pattern that is created, you don't want to be buying at the top. You want to be buying at the bottom. So we can move it slightly high if you want. For me personally, I will leave in that area because I'm a precautionary trader. But I do think the bigger one, we can move it maybe slightly higher. Sorry, let me move this. I've got mouse problems. In terms of mouse for my PC. Cool. That's what I'm looking at again. And if it breaks down, we can get out because there's a support there. So if it goes lower than this area, let me draw it. If it goes lower than this area, that's where we think about taking our losses. But me personally, that's something that I'm looking at. Keep your eyes out. Screenshot this. Let me draw an arrow so your eyes are peeled, and all these lines don't confuse your analysis. So I'll draw a little arrow for what we could expect, just so you guys know. Like something that we could expect. So if you guys want to take a screenshot, that's fine. You can do that now. Again, this is just precautionary. You do have to wait, and I'm sorry. Some people do message me and be like I thought it's a scalping session. Like guys, 10 p.m. First of all, the markets to widen, the spreads get higher, so it's not a good time to scalp right now. But we can find areas, and this is the best way to trade. It's not about trading for the sake of trading, for the sake of entering scalping session. It's just trade when it makes sense. So as you guys can see, especially like a few new people that are jumping on, these sessions are powerful because when you do look back at it, you're like, wow, the analysis that we did was spot on. And it makes your confidence increase. And then you start to realize that you was trading totally wrong. You're trading based off something that you don't really understand, or somebody's input, not really having that confidence and belief in yourself. And it really comes down to you. I don't know if you guys watch Billions. It's a TV show about a person called Bobby Axelrod. So if you don't watch it. It's good for your psychology. The guy owns a hedge fund and he's got like a psychiatrist that works in the broker. So the traders are always psychologically prepared. So psychology is like 90% of trading. So remember that. Cool. So we're looking. You're on season 2. I've got one episode left of season 3, so I recommend it. I don't really watch TV, but it's relevant to trading, so why not? It's pretty good. So I'm not recommending. You might get bored, but it's really good, especially for traders. Like it makes you think quite a lot. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next one. That's Euro USD. And this is going to be on YouTube. So I recommended a TV show on on a trading session. So it's called Billions. Okay, awesome. So next chart, because I don't want time to run out, Euro GBP. And this is something that I want to speak about. To be honest, as you can see, this is the analysis that we did. The long-term analysis was we want to get in for the buy. And I remember, do you guys remember why I said it could break out? So just for scalping, maybe that's a good area. But do you remember why? Does anybody remember why I said it could break out upwards? If you don't remember, that's not a problem. Yeah, long term, as you can, if you zoom out and you look at the daily, you can see this is definitely an uptrend. So the fact that it's broken out upwards is not surprising. Anybody who got in at the bottom of this uptrend, you're laughing now. So this is why getting in at the right point of the trend is really good. The entry that I gave yesterday in terms of potential scalping entry, if you do look at the 15-minute chart, you can see it did play around in that area a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. Let me go back to that zone. Sorry. I think it was around about here. So you can see that it did have a few scalping zones here. Like it did create like a little area, but then we can see that inevitably it did break out. There's a bit of resistance, but it wanted to break out. So me personally, I would delete this. Don't scalp here. Come back down. So that entry is no longer valid at the moment. If it comes back into the channel, then maybe we can get in for a buy later on. But at the moment, it's broken out. It's creating a little flag. I could see it shooting back up. So let's look at a long term. So remember, when something breaks out the channel that you drew, like you might need to zoom out into the larger time frame to see what's going to happen next, because that channel that we created, that was just for the current, that's a current movement happening. It doesn't tell you what pattern is going to literally happen next. So let me zoom out on a daily chart. So on a daily chart, we can see that it's definitely an uptrend. Let's make that clear first. So you can see that, right? So let's zoom out on a larger time frame just to see where the price is right now. So even on a daily resistance that we had, is broken out that area. What's the next daily resistance? So it's actually touching the next daily resistance. So you don't want to do anything yet. The reason why, let me show you on a weekly, and this is going to open your eyes. So if you look at the weekly, you can see that the whole of this is a very long sideways movement since that impulsive move down. So as you can see here, that was an impulsive move down. And let me draw the little flag that we can create. It's like a very big one. But since that impulsive move down, and let me draw this, it's had a very long sideways movement. So can you guys see what I'm talking about? Because I don't want to just blab on. Can you guys see what I'm saying? So since the crazy move down, it's been on a very sideways movement. You guys can see that, right? Simple stuff. Yeah, cool. So if you start to zoom out, the market, it is at a resistance even on the weekly. However, it has been higher and it's on an uptrend. So there's a chance of it coming down. And because it's even on long term, even though it's sideways, I would say the overall movement is still pushing forward, pushing higher. So what I'm looking for again is for a buy entry. And at the moment, I'm not really looking for anything at the moment. Like since that sideways movement, since that impulsive move down, it's just been creating a little pattern. Now it's creating another pattern within that pattern, a trend line within a trend line. Sorry, a channel within a channel. So this major big channel here, then it's got another channel here. So again, even if we are looking for a buy, yeah, exactly. So again, it hasn't broken out of the weekly and daily resistance yet. Let me put another line what I'm talking about so you guys can see it. So let me put another line here so you can see what I'm talking about. There have been wicks in this area a few times, so that's something that we can keep in mind. So it hasn't broken out the area again. So I would stick to this analysis, and I'm just going to be honest with you. It could go higher, but if we're looking for an entry, you want to stick to this. I'm just being honest. If it comes back into the channel, we want to get an entry low as possible within that channel. That's what we're looking for, because that's the best bet of you getting a good entry and being confident. Like if you want to be confident in your trade, that's a good zone to buy. So it could take a day or two, it could take a little while. At the moment it's at the top, you don't want to buy, it's an uptrend, so you're looking for a buy, you want to buy at the top. All of these things are telling you just be patient. You don't want to do anything that doesn't make sense to you, or it isn't. If it doesn't, how to say, you've got 10 minutes left. So if it doesn't make sense to you, then just don't do it. Simple as that. Okay, Euro JPY. Let's zoom out onto a daily so we can see what's going on. Okay, cool. So as you can see, I'm still waiting. This is something that we're still waiting on. It's in the middle of the long-term channel, if that's correct. So we were waiting for it to go back to the bottom or go back to the top for our entries. So at the moment, again, I'm still watching, seeing what's going to happen with this. It's in the middle at the moment. I'm not going to be trading Euro JPY. I'm just waiting for the high zone or the low zone on this. Something. Sometimes you just want to be confident, right? Okay, so this is an interesting one. NZD/JPY. If you just quickly look at the weekly, you can see that it's been pushing down. The zone that we previously got into, it didn't go back up there. It's getting towards the bottom. You don't want to be looking for a sell towards the bottom of the channel because there's a chance it could go up. Let me show you on a daily so you can see what I mean. So right now, if I extend this channel, what you can clearly see is in the middle of this channel that we drew. So you don't want to take that risk. Again, you do want to sell at the top. So let's just make this a bit wider. Let's set a new zone. And that's something that we still can look for. So if it gets back down to the area, that's a better time to sell. We don't want to get in at the moment. So me personally, again, just keep waiting, just stay a bit patient, and we can get our entry. It's in the middle. Like, I'm just being honest, it's definitely on the down, continue the downtrend. You can see that that's a daily chart. So it's been going down for quite a while. You can even extend it longer, still a downtrend. So if you want to catch your movement, might take a few days. So anything can happen. The news might push it back into the area, but that doesn't make sense for me to get in. It's in the middle as well. Looking at it on an hourly chart, just to show you what I mean. Again, look at the last hour, it just shot right down. So yeah, I would personally wait that one out as well. Let's wait for NZD-JPY to create a slightly higher entry. NZD-USD, I'm assuming something similar. So it looks like the New Zealand dollar or the US dollar has either shot up or down. There must have been some major news in the last hour. If anyone can enlighten me, I'll have a look in a second. Cool. So what we was originally looking for is a bounce upwards. So I think this analysis was a long time ago. So let's check the daily so we can see what's going on. Okay. Okay, I know where it is. So on the daily, it's quite low. If you look at the weekly though, we can see, so this is something that I said. So on the weekly there is also a downtrend, but there's also a channel that's going up, because we were saying that it's gonna, on the weekly it's a downtrend. Can you guys see this? Like, I've even got the drawing still drawn out. Like, long term it is gonna go down. So I'm not surprised that it's shooting down. I'm not surprised long term. What I was predicting that it could go higher into the channel, then come back down on the weekly. So if you look at this on a daily now, so we can see that it's been pushing down. There's still a chance of it going higher, but if you want to secure our sells long term, you can get in for scalps around about this area. But me personally, again, let the NZD-USD go a bit higher, and we can get in for ourselves. So these are, again, you don't need to be on point with every single chart. Some charts you can give them a break, just be like, I'm going to come back to this. I want it to be a bit more, give me a bit more confidence, a bit more analysis, a bit more, let it abide by my strategy a bit more before I get into that. Okay, USD-JPY. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember what I was saying about this. Let's go into 4 hours so we can zoom in. What I was saying is, if we are going to get back in for a sell, let it come back down to this area, because I do think it's going to go down. It didn't really go back up. It has come back down to this area, so we can see what happens. So if it goes back up, let me draw another channel just so you guys can see this. So since that impulsive move down, you can see here, this is something that I drew last week. So we got 5 minutes, so let's wrap this up. So since then, you've seen the move come down, up and down, play in that area. So it's creating like a little, so let me delete that, so it's going to confuse you. So cool, yeah. I would stick to something similar. Let's catch you on the way down. Be a bit patient. If you want to be a bit riskier, you can do it slightly different to me, but that's something that I'm looking at. Again, a higher risk entry would be around about this area, because that's can you see this green channel that we're drawing sideways? Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Actually, that's long term, that's fine. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is something that we drew today. So it could go back into this area. That's what we looked at yesterday. So I will look at this area for a sell. Because right now it's in the middle of the channel. Again, if you're going to sell on a downtrend, you want to get in high as you can. So that's the first one. If it breaks out that, then definitely the top one is a very good entry. I will consider the top one. If it does for any reason shoot that high, that's an amazing entry. That's something that we looked at on the weekly and the daily, and that could be a really good entry. But for now, if you're to get in for a scalping zone or short term, long term, you could even swing this easily. Well, I would say 20-30 pips from there to here. Yeah, easy 20-30 pips. Even if you don't catch it to the bottom. Cool. So that's USD-JPY. Let's have a quick look at UK 100. Now look at one or two charts that you guys said. So UK 100. So just take your screenshots So you guys can see that UK 100. Again, like UK 100, it was just playing with it. Like it shut down out of that channel, and then look, now it's abiding by that little wick area that we drew. So it shot back down, it's going back up, and I just knew that this was gonna happen. Like I would consider this a higher high. So this is a 4-hour chart. Previously, that was the highest point that it hit. Now it's created an actual candle that closed higher than the previous highs. So if you look down at a weekly, you'll see exactly. Let me show you the daily first. So as you can see, let me get rid of this auto. So as you guys can see, that's something that I'm looking at. And I can see that playing out nicely. I can see it shooting all the way back up. It's also created a high high. It hasn't touched the support, sorry, resistance yet. So on a weekly, you'll see that more clearly. On a weekly, you'll understand what I'm trying to say more clearly. So I want to show you guys what I mean. So it's at the bottom of the weekly channel. So we can expect it to shoot up. You guys can see that, right? So maybe I will be trading this on the auto trader, by the way. So I will be doing UK 100s quite often because I do find it when it's in a certain zone, you can catch a good few pips very quickly. So that's the daily again. So again, let's look for a 4-hour zone. Personally, again, looking for the buy. It's pretty high right now. You don't want to get in. Remember, you always want to get in at the bottom of an uptrend, not at the top of the uptrend. That's simple. We'll stick by them, and you'll do good. We see it broke out here. I did draw like a black line there. It is like it's a good support line that we can let it bounce off if it does break this trend again. So I'll be looking at entries. Let me draw a circle so we can have that ready. So I'll be looking at entries. A good entry would be around about there. But potentially we can see it. Potentially, let me draw 2 arrows. So let me change these around. So just take a screenshot. And then if you take a screenshot, you can just watch out for the zones. That's something that we can see potentially happening. Just let me do this one first. So again, don't be surprised to see it bounce off that, go higher. So maybe once it gets to that area, you can look for a buy, but at the same time, an even safer entry would be even safer entry would be more roundabout here. So again, you want to wait. The reason why I don't want to give you entry, simple stuff. It's an uptrend. You don't want to buy at the top. You want to always buy at the bottom. Simple stuff. So that's what we wait for. So just take your screenshots. There's less than a minute left. I will upload this to YouTube. What we can do is, this is just analysis we done on our charts. We can look at some more charts. If you do want to jump on, I'll send the link again and we look at your own charts. But this is the stuff that I'm going to record to YouTube. So just a reminder, Auto Trader on the 13th of August, a few days left. That's going to get going. So guys, thanks for your time. If you guys do want to jump on, I'll send the link. Whoever jumps on, I'll jump on